Buenas tardes.
Good morning, good afternoon. We are going to start with one of the most complex sessions because after lunch I assume that we are all a bit relaxed, but the lecturers will also be more relaxed and they will make their presentations. As we start, we will be joined by people that probably is finishing their lunch. My name is Juan Coronado Ros, and I'm the delegate in the Valencia region and Murcia of the Association of Topographers, and we will do the presentations now, and then we will have now Oscar Martinez, and he is going to do his presentation on scripting in gvSIG. Good afternoon. I'm Oscar Martinez. I'm a student in topography, and I'm going to present this in gvSIG. I don't think is duly appreciated. This is more something that should be used by ordinary people in order to simplify some of the tasks. I'm not specialized in information technology. I'm just a student of topography at the Polytechnic University of Valencia. I know something about mapping and gvSIG, basic knowledge in programming, and in my course we had only one subject in programming, and before doing this project I knew very little about Python and many other things, and we have data. I had no idea of almost anything. I don't mean that you don't have to be specialized in anything. You can work with this module without having previous knowledge. If I ask how many of you know about programming, I'm sure that very few people will know programming in depth. And if I ask how many of you are afraid of programming, I'm sure that many people will be afraid. You will probably say that you do not know where to start with, and it's a difficult field. With my project, I wanted to facilitate the things in order to program in gvSIG, and you don't know a lot of knowledge in order to do something which is useful. An example of the real life, looking for a film. If I tell you to program something like this, you wouldn't know that. But if I change the order and I said search a film in a list of films with name, and then if I tell you to find película in películas, and if it's called name, probably with the sentences which are up, you will know how to do the module which is in the lower part of the screen. If we explain that with those words, everybody will understand this, and sometimes the programming guides are not clear enough. Sometimes we do not need so many technical knowledge in order to program something which is useful. And I also think that in programming you have to start with a simple language which is not producing problems for you, which is easy to read, and we should receive a guide with basic concepts, basic ideas. SIG programming For those of you who are using gvSIG, when you were told that you should learn programming, you think that's a very big issue, but it's not so. And not many of you have lots of time to use on this. I think it's important that somebody like me tells you that is useful, that there are things you can use and that is going to be very useful for you. And it is important to have visual examples, practical examples, not having too many programming guides, which is just code and code and code. You can, with this application, you can program for mapping, and you can see the results immediately. This is the Python, and I was just mixing together these two things. Is programming at a very basic level, very easy. Python is very easy to learn, and then I added a scripting module, which is completely integrated in gvSIG, and you just open it, you put your code, and that's all. It works. You don't have to assemble additional consoles or interpreters or anything. Just installing this, which is made with two very simple steps, you can use it. This is ready just for the version 2.0 onwards, not for the 1.x. So I would like you to start programming in a very simple way and in a very practical way. This scripting module is this programming module which is completely integrated in gvSIG 2.0 onwards. What is completely integrated is that you only need 2 clicks. You open gvSIG, you go to Tools, and then you have the module, and you can start programming and making your module. And then we call that Python language, which is the mixture of Python and Java. For us is basically Python. Don't care about Java, because Java is something much more complex. You can make tests without going out from gvSIG. If you have the gvSIG installed, you don't have to worry about anything else. This will allow us to generate our own scripts, our own little pieces of software. We will be able to solve our tasks, which are not good for a full company, but you as a person, you can solve your own problems. The libraries which are added are 3 of them. Commons Dialog, which takes care of all the alert messages, warning messages, questions, roads of the files, and so on. The gvSIG libraries, which contributes with data, attributes, tables, and so on, and the geometries library, which is all the work with geometries, whether these are polygons, lines, houses, roads. It's very easy to work with them. With very short commands, you can calculate intersections, unions, everything. The tools for this module are 3. The Python console, the scripting composer. The Python console, I almost don't use it. It allows you to work with your layers and with your script directly. When you write a project, then you have the recommendation of the commands that you can use. So sometimes when you are lost in the middle of a module, it helps you and suggest which things could you use. The scripting composer, which is the main tool, that allows you to create, execute, and organize your scripts. Here I have the list of my scripts. I can open them. You can change those that you want, and you can execute them. There is a new one, which is the Scripting Composer Formulario. This is not yet implemented, but it is a very powerful tool. This makes the scripting tool much more powerful. That gives you an additional window. You can open layers. You can tell it to search for things, and it opens a new wall of possibilities. And then the scripting launcher, you can have it open on the right-hand side, small, and with a double click, you will have this tool executed. This is driven towards common people, ordinary people, in a very simple way. What can you do with a script? You can automate the tasks that you do every day, and with just one click, you can launch all of them. If you know how to program, you can save many hours of work. It can help you to administer data, analyze data, and what is important is to create your own tools which are yours. They should not be useful for everybody, but highly personalized for you. This tool has a great potential because it's driven to every person, and anybody can save many hours of work in a very easy environment with just a few things that you have to learn, and you can do your own tools, and you can learn enough so as to modify them, even if you cannot create them. So you can receive a text, and if this text can be sent by email and you can copy in your gvSIG, you can execute it, and just changing a few things, you change, in fact, the whole software. And these are some examples of use, and you will see the real opportunities. Importing CSV. This is not existing in 2.0. So it was non-existent up to now, and some people told me whether they could do a script for this. With a very short script, you can import a CSV with no problems. You see the notes, and you can have your layer. This is just in one step with a double click. This tool is not implemented, but you can have your own use. This is another user that she was a user and was using it for geomarketing. So what she was doing is taking regions, polygons, some specific areas, until reaching a specific size of the population. In this case, this is applied to comarcs. And then she told the script that when it reaches 5,000 people, then it stops and creates a geometry around the area. Another user that was just trying to have more beautiful layers for the presentations, and then I did a softening around script, so it was cutting the corners, and the red polygon is square in the corners, and the other is more rounded. I think he was using that for geology, and you always try to have a more kind of visual presentation. Another thing that you can do is spatial analysis, creating a mesh and extracting data based on different layers. So you have a layer with residence, parks, hospitals, and then you want to look for an apartment in that area of the city. then the script creates a mesh of dots at a certain distance that you can establish, and then it was, for instance, you can calculate ratios on the right for the roads. Where is the road you have higher scoring, and for residences, parks, and malls, for instance. And on the addition of those values, I was applying a cut in order to see which were the points inside the residences. So if you're looking for a house in that area, you put your ratios, and then you know that right in the center, in the red dots, is where everything is closer. Another example is an auto arrange that exists for arcade. This is an approximation. This is when it reads the layers at one site, because you are downloading a database or whatever. You want to organize them, and then you have a script that separates this into 3 parts, and it separates the surfaces, the lines, and the dot layers. Those which have a larger area are in the lower part and is ordered by regions, comarque, municipalities, and neighborhoods, and then you can order all your layers automatically if you want. We can also order them depending on the bodies they have. So it's tailoring those tasks which perhaps are not so tailored. Here is another example of a list. You have a project with many lists and many layers, then you can launch a script ordering this on layers, views, and layers. And this is my project, scripting in gvSIG with all this module, all those examples. I was looking for the best way to convey the message to you. And I divided this into parts. A support part which has a reference guide, a command guide, and what I want to do is to translate it for people who have problems with English, making it more simple and more comprehensive, because it needs some additional modules. So I need a better makeup and colors which are linked to the colors of the scheme. With this schema, you can have access to your data, because I remember at the beginning I didn't know how to have access to my layer, to my body, and following those steps for people who are just beginners, this can be a great help. A start guide, and I mentioned that to a colleague that attends many meetings, and this is like a guide for dummies, because can help him or her to adapt and program his or her scripts. And with the support guide, this schema, the learning, then I saw that I was having my scripts at home, and I saw them, but nobody else was seeing them. And I took those scripts to people that I thought that if that was published, they would use it and they will apply it. Now probably you only want something more kind of personal. Here I have different images, and this is very well explained. I have the code well formatted with colors and everything. And I just want to tell you how useful this module is. I continue studying topography, but it helped me to know more about programming languages. I'm a better programmer in Python and Java. I'm not so afraid of programming. and I have better knowledge of the SIG programming. I have continued because I have seen that it's not so difficult, that you can learn easily and you can continue using this module. And I have been using that for GDAL, OGR, and ArcPy, QGIS, and PostGIS, so you can continue and use it in some other new applications. My conclusions is that Donder to program is not so difficult. With a good guide and a few steps, you can do very useful things. You should understand also the power of this module. This module is made additionally for ordinary people that use it daily. It's not made for larger corporations. It is important to have a good start guide that tells you how to start, as its name says, and you shouldn't be afraid of asking, and you have the right to be explained everything. Sometimes you need a good example, or even many examples. Basically, is learning by example, if compared to another, is much more interesting than with the 3 pages and the dissemination of data, because sometimes with just a script you can support other people who are searching for a solution. Here you have Mask-SIG. You can ask me anything. I'll be very, very pleased to answer your questions. Thank you very much for your attention.